Good morning, everybody. I hope this video finds you well. Today I want to talk a little bit about the mechanics of our consciousness. Now, mechanics of our consciousness. A lot of people use tools to describe what we are. Historically, it's a soul. You are soul in a body. And I use tools a lot. I use the movie projector theory as an illustrative methodology. I use marbles when I do some of my videos to describe the role of mantids and mantid prime and these other issues. And today, I want to talk a little bit about how it all comes together. Everything comes together, and I want to talk a little bit about how it all comes together. Okay? Things come together because there's only one force, and that's consciousness. What your consciousness thinks of manifests through action, and there's a source code for this. So we're going to use something that other people have used that I happen to like, and it's the holodeck. In Star Trek, they have this recreational room called the holodeck, and it creates the illusion that you're somewhere else doing something else, interacting with other things. When it's just all an illusion, it's a holodeck for fun. And I will say that in the Star Trek universe, you can go to a computer console and program what you're going to experience on that holodeck. It could be a ship, or it could be another planet. It could be a classroom. And you can use it for all kinds of purposes, not just recreation, but for adventure, to relive a story perhaps, have a romance, a little occasion, all kinds of things. And what we need to do is get to that source code. So in your life, if it's a holodeck, you need to access that source code. Now, there are certain things. The source code has been locked in certain areas, like memories, for instance. And it makes things a little bit difficult for you, but it's not impossible. None of it's impossible, okay? So, when you are changing the source code, how do you do it? How do you change the source code? Well, I've always argued that focused thought, verbalized, is actually changing the source code. And I still stand by that. That's why we do our affirmations. I'm in an affirmation campaign right now. But it can be anything. I've mentioned before mechanisms you could create, posters you can design, activities you can participate in, all of which will function to change that source code. So you guys need to start changing your source code to something that you really want. Now, there's parts of us that say, oh, it's too much work. Why doesn't the domain commander just go ahead and do it for me? That's just not the way it works. You are the only person that's immersed in this world around you. And you need to experience it, and therefore you need to change the source code yourself. So, how do you go about doing it? Well, you do your affirmations. It doesn't have to be anything big. It doesn't have to be pages and pages of stuff. It has to be consistent. You focus on it for just a little bit of a day, and then you move on. Your life will go in that direction. As I've said before, the other thing you need to do is take away from activities, thoughts, or other people that subtract from that process. So if you have, if you read my writings, you know, I have a sister that's particularly problematic, and I'd get her out of my life because it was a constant barrage of bad stuff from her. Once I got away from her, my life thrived. When I got near her, communicated with her, it had bumpy roads. So yeah, you've got to get rid of all the bad stuff. Got to get rid of all the bad stuff that's pushing you down and focus on things that bring you up. Now, some people, I've seen this. I watched this yesterday. It was on Xiaohongshu. And a guy made a video about living a life of abundance. I will make lots of money. Money will come to me. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, guys. Money is a tool. Tools come with issues and problems. Is that really what you want? Or do you just want to be healthy, happy, and loved? Do you want to live a life where you're not worried about finances or anything? Go to the root of what things are and don't try to come up with ideas to fix that route. So you're like, oh God, I'm tired of driving this beaten up car. It always breaks down. I want myself to have a Porsche. Well, when it breaks down, you'll have to take out a bank loan. So basically, you want something more simpler source code. Might sound something like this. Might be, I have reasonable transportation that doesn't break down. Your source code should be simple at all times. And it should be something that helps you to find a good life under your terms without getting too caught up. Remember, I wrote an article somewhere in my affirmation section about how I was and where I am now, and it talked about, you know, Miami Vice. I was so influenced by Miami Vice, I wanted that lifestyle. Well, hell, I ended up getting a penthouse on the ocean. It sucked. Okay? Don't use Hollywood or movies or other things to judge what you want in life. It's going to cause you problems. It really will. So you don't want that. So remember, let's focus on the basics, okay? In the source code, so let's suppose you have two people. They go with the two holodecks. Both of them want the same thing. They both say to the computer, I want a warm, loving environment where I'm happy and content. One person's holodeck appears as a nice house in the spring with dogs and cats rubbing against you and hanging out with you, music playing, and some loved ones coming in through the front door. The other person might have a cozy mountain cabin with a hot cup of cocoa sitting on the coffee table with a throw and a cat purring while the storm rages outside. It's a personal issue, how these things manifest. There's no set way, and don't use the ideas of somebody in Hollywood to tell you what to think. You just go ahead and do it your way. And that's it for today, guys. Take care. Be kind to dogs and cats. Remember, man, I believe in you. Bye-bye.